Terry here with our week 5 video. So before I get started talking about week 5, I want to go back to a little bit of week 4. So we had this discussion and I messed up, and a couple of students will get some bonus points for prompting me that I had messed up and forgot to make certain things accessible. But this assignment had something you were supposed to post for yourself as an assignment, but then there was a discussion, and because things weren't open, some people just seemed to put it in just one place. Many people did not actually post in the discussion, so I'm going to leave that open. I'm not going to take off any points because it was my mess up with respect to making sure things were open properly. So I'll leave it open for another 2 or 3 days, and you can go in and take part in the discussion. I thought this would be a useful exercise to try and do some audience analysis and try and see from what you can read what's going on, because that's, again, a technique I've found useful for analyzing stuff. So you'll have until Wednesday to go ahead and update that discussion. Okay, so now let's talk about this week. So I've already posted the video. Obviously, I'll be posting this video if you're watching it. So there's really 2 different paths we're going to be following this week. So the story material, why stories, that's the core for this chapter. I'll post the chapter hopefully tomorrow, Monday, late Monday. But the video to go with it is there. So we're going to do 2 things. We're going to keep working on some aspects of proposals, and now we're going to also start talking a little bit about story. This week and next week will be about story, and then we'll bring it back to the proposal. But one of the activities you often do in a proposal, and so your first assignment there, is what we call a starting document template. Anytime in the companies I've worked in, we go to do a proposal, one of the first things we do is somebody on the team gets tasked to go grab the call for proposals, the actual details of the material, and build a document that has all of the requirements in it so that the whole team has a shared document and not everyone has to go do it. And so what I'm asking you to do is actually go through this exercise. And it's not a very difficult exercise, but you just want to make sure you go through all of the stages. So there is this PDF, which is linked. Colorado Now application. I don't want to, if you go to the website, you'll actually see that to get to this, you have to log in and register, and I don't want them having a ton of people register from UCC, as it might actually cause confusion. So I've downloaded the PDF, again, which is actually what, if I was doing this for my company, that's what we would have done. In fact, I'd probably take the PDF and I'd convert it to a Word doc, but you don't get a choice of downloading it that way. But you can use that idea to start your thing. Go convert it to a Word doc and go in. And you'll sort of see as I scroll through this, right? So the proposal is going to have 150-word maximum, program overview, identify, understand the problems, go through. And so you're going to make up a Word document that has all of these instructions in it. And then one of the things you're going to have to do is go through and identify what you think are the 10 key things that have to be addressed first. What are the things that have to get started on, so that, you know, if you were giving this to your boss, it'd be like, here's the things I think are the most difficult or the most time consuming. You got to get started on these first. And, you know, the document will have all this. So the top of the document will have a little bit that says, here's the 10 most important things you have to do. And then it'll go through all of the material. So you're going to go ahead and do that. You're also, as you go through that, I want to see that you can deal with references. So I want you to take the references you found and figure, right, you're already supposed to have done it from a past assignment. And then I want you to expand the discussion of each of those references to 300 words that tie the citation to figure to what do you think the story should be for our proposal. And you started this a little bit, but before it was just 1 or 2 sentences. Now I want you to expand on that idea. As you read through the application, I'll give you some idea why that would happen. If you didn't find any reference figures in the past assignments, because 1 or 2 of you did not actually finish that assignment, you're going to have to go find them now, because you're going to have to be able to complete this one without it. Okay, for dealing with references, we're going to use Zotero, and we're going to use a shared group library. So if you click on this link, it will take you to a shared Zotero group that I set up, and that's where you should put your references. So you should join that, add references, and then use those in the bibliography of your document. I realize that this is not quite realistic. We wouldn't have 20 people all building a template document, and we wouldn't necessarily need 20 references, but I want to go through the process so you get some practice at the learning stages of these are the steps we would probably be taking. So that's the proposal aspects of this week. Now the next part of this week is personal stories. So Storytelling and the importance of story is what this week's chapter and video are about. So after you've done it, so you can actually start working on the opportunity now before you even watch the other videos. But the personal story stuff, you have to watch the videos, read the chapter, at least watch the videos. Pretty much covered the same core ideas. The content is about stories, but also various reasons they're more effective in sort of telling stuff. And so in this journal, you're to reflect on the content and then recount at least 2 different personal stories that have influenced you. So stories that actually had an influence, not just something you remember, because you're going to have to say how it influenced you. These could be stories that are going to be shared publicly. So choose something you don't mind sharing, because you're going to share them, and you'll see in just a second, right? The story should be told with at least 10 sentences per story. I'm not giving you a word count, I'm giving you a sentence count. So for your story, you then, after you write the story, then you're supposed to have a paragraph where you discuss which of the mechanisms from the chapter or from the video made the story memorable and effective at influencing you. What made this an effective story from your point of view? And then we're going to take that. The second thing, and this is related to one of the concepts that show up in the chapter about gaps, you're going to take 3 non-consecutive sentences from your story verbatim, and you're going to use them in the discussion on filling the gaps, which I'll show you in just a second. This personal story journal is due on Thursday, September 21st at 7 a.m. And it might seem like a strange time, but we've had some students that keep missing it by like doing 2 a.m., right? I'm not grading anything, and I don't too many other students are going to start working at 2 a.m., so we'll just make it 7 a.m. so you can work it late if you're a night owl. So the filling the gap discussion is a discussion board, and you're going to start this discussion by posting 2 sets of 3 sentences from your personal story journal assignment. You wrote 2 stories. Each of those you pulled out 3 sentences, and that's what you're going to post here. And before you go choose them, obviously you're supposed to have read the chapter, so you'll know sort of what I'm talking about and why this becomes interesting. And then come back after the assignment's due. So even if you post your stuff early in the discussion group, come back after the 21st and read sets of 3 sentences from someone who's had at most 2 answers to their post. I want everyone to get some analysis of what they post, so everybody can do at most 2, and you're going to post 2. So you're going to do that. You're going to, should say here, read 2 sets, right? You'll do this twice. And then you're going to weave one of their sets. So they posted 2 sets. You can choose whichever set you like. You're going to take those 3 sentences and you're going to make up a full 10-sentence story, and then you're going to post that. So you're going to be making a story by taking their 3 pieces and put it together. And then after your post has 2 replies, and that's all you're expecting to get, I want you to post the full 10-sentence story that you wrote and discuss how others filled the gap in your story, postulating why their story is different from your actual story, what insights that might tell you about tactical writing, and what you have to be careful of when you're writing stories and leaving pieces out if you want to see the effects. So those are the 3 assignments from that for this week. You have the proposal template, you have your personal story, which is due by Thursday, and you have your discussion, which is actually due by, should be up here. I think it's due September 24th. So that's like Sunday. So you have plenty of time to fill those in. The proposal starting template, again, you have the PDF you can start from. Use that to put together a document that a company might use. We might partner with XI. We're going to have to do this, so we'll probably use one of these templates as what we're going to start from. But importantly, you have to identify the 10 things that are most important in terms of the priorities, like here's number 1 priority, here's number 2, here's number 3. You're going to go through that so that your boss would know how to prioritize stuff based on your view of what you see in that proposal requirements. And so that can help prioritize what we're going to work on next. So pretty short week. The video for this chapter I hope you find interesting. As I said, the text will actually be posted tomorrow. I have to finish editing it and still have a bunch of typos to fix. So, okay, thank you. Talk to you next week.